What's up, y'all? So I'm just cruising around. Got this little motor kit going on my bike. It's fun, very fun to cruise around. Went off road. I'm behind some random fucking. There's a school over there. I don't even know exactly where I'm at. Fucking trail right there with what's the trail? I don't know. I just saw a detour, so let me check that out. I like that. I like that free range motion type shit, going up sidewalks, going through neighborhoods, going off road. Don't even matter. On the street, whatever. Nah, but I'm just chilling, thinking. Wasn't really thinking. I'm just kind of chilling, just going. My mind's just going while I'm doing whatever I'm doing, as always. I'm always just like constantly like, I guess, thinking about life. like I guess the whole thing about life is like we still don't even know what it is. Like it's still a mystery to us. I see these kids over there playing soccer, football. I want to go to other countries. I want to go explore some cultures over there. Probably learn a lot from that, seeing the ways other people perceive life, I mean, each individual is different, but generally, certain cultures have certain takes on a lot of things. To me, I think a culture is a value system. I think that's all it really is a value system. And, what you value, you take care of. And what you take care of lasts, and the things you don't take care of die. So whatever that culture is will kind of determine what survives, Gotta think about that. Even in biology, like that's the crazy thing about biology. Like let's say, like with breeding, like if all of a sudden people quit liking apples, all of a sudden people might quit taking care of them, and next thing you know, they go extinct, or whatever it might be. Let's say people with blonde hair, blue eyes, people all of a sudden say, nah, blonde hair, blue eyes for life. Okay, let's say, I don't know. I guess if people like people with blonde hair, blue eyes, we'll breed more and we'll produce more, proliferate more, and it'll last longer. So with everything, it's relevant. That's like actually one of like the major things that I kind of have seen about life. I think I haven't really heard anybody talk like this about this, but I've said it in the past. I took it to like some philosophical, metaphysical almost type stuff. But yeah, what people value, they take care of, and what people take care of lasts. So it is what it is. Something you can see pretty clearly. But now I was thinking about these kids playing football, and I was thinking about how they just run around, and I used to do that a lot. I still kind of do that. I probably need to give. I used to play basketball every single day, just like a couple years ago. I like being active. I feel healthier and stuff. But these kids, they just run around doing the same shit, just don't even look like they're getting tired at all, I remember when I was like young, I used to just go. Like, tired was not a thought in my brain. Like, we get tired, but like, we just breathe and go again, and get some water, suck like a gallon of water down from the water hose and freaking go right back at it. Maybe get some food every once in a while, but we just kept going and going. Our engines were just going. And I see these kids, I'm just like, man, that's just like a new generation, and before you know it, they're gonna be older, and it's this refreshing, tree of life, whatever. It's biology. I mean, it's just that's how I pretty much understand everything at this point. It's like, as far as life goes, I see it in a very biological way. I think it's just like, it makes sense. So it just is what it is. I mean, let's say like Native Americans. I found out I was like 10% Native American. I mention that every so often. I like Native Americans. I like the culture they used to have. They're very connected to nature. They respected nature. They valued nature, so they took care of it, and it lasted. And I think that's why this country's so beautiful, because I think the way that they respected nature and interacted with it kind of like almost conditioned it to be beautiful. And that's why when people came over, they're like, oh my gosh, it's like the most beautiful stuff I've ever seen, because the people that were there that had lived with it for generation after generation, they had conditioned it through their, interaction with it, to be more suited for themselves, I mean, that's how everything is, like whether you know it or not, you're interacting with everything. You're giving everything positive and negative feedback, and you're either, I mean, if you're not doing it like, truthfully to your own real opinions, and your own, likes and dislikes, then you might be killing things that you like and, kind of keeping things that you don't like, and that's very bad. So no matter what you're doing, you're always interacting and you're always affecting things. So you gotta be aware of that. You gotta give negative feedback. You gotta kill the things you don't like, and keep around the things that you do. Just at least around you. That's your personal environment that you create. I was just cleaning up my back patio. I had a whole bunch of random old bikes. I'm like, I need to get rid of half this crap. I don't even want it anymore. And opinions change. Your stuff like that changes, and that's something we do. We're constantly conditioning. We condition other people. We condition our environments, but we also just straight up change it if we want to. For instance, right around here, there's a bunch of feral hogs, and people decided they're too invasive right now, too many of them, so people started hunting them. It's what the freak they decided to do. But anyway, my point is, it's all biology. That's just the way I see it. And Native Americans, that's what I was getting into. Native Americans. I like the way they did it. They were very in touch with nature. Their culture was good. They cared about Mother Earth and everything, and they took care of it. And but back then, they didn't really have it all figured out like we do now, kind of. Like, we've actually studied it very carefully. I guess the what's our boy's name? Is it Mendel with the P's? And we understand genetics, and we understand DNA. We understand a lot about biology. We really kind of systematically figured a lot of things out. I think the Native Americans back then, they were more just spiritual about it. They're in touch with Gaia, you know what I mean? And that's dope. I dig that too. And I don't neglect that at all. I think that's, fundamental to who and what we are. We just have a natural connection to everything, to what do you want to call it? I don't know. It seems like a lot of people are very rigid with the scientific. They're like, science is all there is. It's like, no, there's a lot of shit. I mean, there's a lot of shit that we understand and comprehend about life that we didn't need science to tell us, We could just see and feel and touch and smell and whatever, So that's all relevant, Some people seem like they try to be like these authority figures just by, science is the only way, everything else is stupid. You're stupid. We're not. I mean, some people, it's funny because some people are stupid enough to actually believe some shit like that. It's like, no, dude, there's life, there's common sense, there's obvious stuff, Science is just probably barely begun to understand a lot of things, and so to neglect all your common sense and just say, science is it, that's the only answer, that's just stupid. And then there's some religious people that neglect their common sense and think religion's all there is, and then they see. The thing about science, I'm all it's really doing is kind of figuring stuff out, and it's that does not conflict with anything really. I mean, common sense tells you one thing. If science tells you something different, that's kind of counterintuitive, it might be reason for you to double check your science, because I mean, it just seems like something's not right? And I mean, common sense is common sense. It just is what it is. Duh. And some science is so we're kind of almost indifferent to it in some ways. It doesn't even matter. There's some things people are still trying to figure out. What's smaller than an electron? A quark? Okay, what is that gonna do for us? I mean, maybe we'll figure out later what it's gonna do for us, but really just for everyday life, it's common sense, dude. But no, my whole point is this is all biology. It's I kind of use that, but it's almost like the same Native American outlook, except now I kind of like more intricately understand certain processes. Like I can like anticipate long-term effects of domestication and stuff like that. And man, I want to get into genetics, man. I want us to like, I think at some point in the future the human race, I guess, is going to be very selective with breeding, and we might even just, do away. I mean, people probably having sex just because it's awesome, but well, probably we might get to a point where we just like, you want a kid, you want to actually produce a kid, we might like perfect the breeding process so well. There'll probably be all these people that still like, oh, I want to do it naturally. Okay, that's cool, that's good, because some people probably got in their head, they're like, oh no, that's bad. But I think at some point we might like, test tube babies might be like way better than natural breeding. I mean, we might just figure out processes. That's actually something I'm interested in. I'm not trying to be like, I'm actually like interested in like all the things about sex, because like, let's say, I mean, I'm not trying to get explicit here, but when an egg is fertilized with humans, there's a lot of sperm that go in. So like which one's gonna make it to the egg? Which one's gonna fertilize that egg? Is that really the best one? What determining factors are there in that? Like what's happening in that micro? I know this is getting kind of extreme, but I mean, I'm curious. We don't really talk about this very much, but like what's happening in that microenvironment? Like what are the forces that are gonna like determine? I mean, I'm almost thinking that like, there might be like some like low key things happening that are that we might just not comprehend. Maybe like there's like a natural magnetic attraction between a certain sperm and the egg. You know what I mean? It's just like that's the one that's gonna like get it. Like I have no idea. So maybe natural is the way to go. I guess we could experiment with it. I'm not. That's the thing. I'm not opposed to experimentation. I'm just like, let's do it. Like, but some people got their ethical things. But I think in the long run, the positive outcome of that will be like probably way better than like the negative is small versus like the potential positive. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't let that hold you up. It's like there being a little bump in the road. It's like, oh, I want to go all the way over here, but this little bump right here is too scary. He's like, get over the bump and go, bro. It's getting dark. I would have paused this because that fucking siren, I don't know what they're doing. I don't like that shit in the background, but somebody always doing something stupid. Somebody probably wrecked a car, set their house on fire. Somebody died. I have no fucking idea. Something stupid. Yeah, so I think we're gonna get to a point where we use our scientific knowledge to like perfect things, but in the meantime, and forever, I mean, common sense has its fucking mainstay, its place in our lives. You know what I mean? Like it is a mainstay. I think it's crazy when people try to say science should be like a determining thing in our fucking lives. It's like, no. Another thing people are talking about is like trying to fucking collect a bunch of data on everything and fucking use AI to fucking like make decisions. Like what the that's so erroneous. You know how fucking erroneous that is? It's fucking, first of all, data is very limited. The data sets are always going to be limited. It's only so many inputs that are going into that algorithm or algorithmic system. You know what I mean? Like hell no. Like that's already enough to let you know it's gonna be erroneous. But then the fucking whatever the algorithm is, whatever the criteria to like choose, I mean that's set by the programmer, so that's already human error. Like fuck that whole fucking thing. That's all fucking some psycho shit. People talking like that. So I'm all about naturalism. Don't get me wrong. I'm all about common sense. I am. I'm 100% like that. Like that's why I just chill. I don't like things. Because we're already part of a bigger system. We're already part of like a creation that we don't really understand, like God's universe. You know what I'm saying? If there is a God, that's just, we don't even know. This whole thing this life's so mysterious. But as far as I can tell, this whole universe is a giant system. We're already part of it. We're a working part of this giant system. And like to like fucking become too rigid and like modify our own behavior too much, like we become dissociative from the natural workings of this mysterious universe. That's the last thing we need, is to like cause error in, this giant universal system, like it's almost like if like my bike, like, I don't know, gears grinded, just, it's going to be damaging to yourself, and yeah, that's not good. So as a whole, as a society, I feel like we should all just, embrace this intuitive understanding of life, but I also like the science, you know what I mean? So I think there's a common sense way to do it all. Some people just rely way too heavy, like science is the only answer. We must collect data to make rational decisions. No, you know really why they start doing that shit? That's because people suck at fucking communicating, and they just fucking argue all the time and don't know how to fucking, they say, okay, we'll let the data decide. It's kind of like they think of like science as like the fucking referee or some shit, you know what I mean? Like, no, dude. Learn to fucking use common sense and learn to fucking communicate. That's the real problem. People don't know how to fucking communicate. Yeah, but so common sense is what it's all about. It just is. It's just life. It's an intuitive understanding of life. It's how we experience life, is intuitively. It's what it's all about, dude. It just is. It always will be. Like, it's just what we are. Like, we don't even know why life started or how, like, why we evolved the way we did. Like, before there was any intelligence, there was microbes, as far as we understand, as far as our Darwinian theory goes of evolution. So once upon a time, there's just microbes, and there's no intelligence there to really guide. There's no domestication happening. So what forces were guiding this shit? How the fuck did we come out? Just, really, this shit just happened? Like, I don't know, man. It seems like it's almost like some divine, path that evolution has taken, and this whole universe is still taking, so last thing I think anybody should do is like really fuck that up, you want to be like in sync with that, like you do not want to go against the grain with the whole freaking universal system, bro. That's insane. So yeah, I'm all about intuition. I'm all about common sense. Yet I still see plenty of places where we can, learn and apply, knowledge and science. And I don't even want to say science. There's plenty of places we can learn and, just do stuff. Like we're talking about genetics. We can do a lot of stuff, man. Like we know how to, just certain processes. We know how to domesticate stuff. We know how to build better. We have material sciences. We have technology. It comes from a lot of, knowledge. It's all about knowledge, like how to do things. Like that's really what I feel like it's about. I think it's all like the common sense is like the guiding factor. It always it's like the, but the science kind of allows us. Science is really just figuring shit out. And when we figure shit out, that enables us to do things. The common sense should always be the guiding factor. Just the people that want to say, oh, science is, I don't know. People are so fucking crazy with that shit. Like I said, the AI thing too. Some people are talking about like, y'all are fucking stupid for even thinking that. That's some of the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life. Like, you can't see how many fucking errors there's gonna be in those systems. Like, are you fucking insane? It's already programmed by a human. There's already human error in it regardless. Like, what do you, I don't know. People are fucking stupid sometimes. And I hear they really fucking think about trying to do that shit. That's why I'm like talking about it, because I'm like, y'all are fucking stupid. I'm saying this well ahead of time. That shit is gonna be so erroneous. Data sets are always incomplete. There's only so many inputs in any fucking, machine, really. Like, it's just no, dude. Like, it doesn't work like we work. We have common sense, that tells you. Sometimes you just get a feeling like, I should do this. If you just let a computer with certain, like a limited amount of data, fucking analyze that data with some human generated fucking algorithm or whatever, here's the output. It's like, that is such an incomplete fucking thing, dude. It's like, and if you follow that, you're so dumb for neglecting your own intuition. Your intuition is going to tell you, no, we shouldn't do that. It's going to tell you, no, you should do this, because you have enough sense. You have a sense. You have way more input going on. You have intuition. I don't even know if it's input. It's just like, we're connected to this, godly universe, whatever you want to call it. common sense is what it's all about, dude. I see people thinking about trying to become like technology dependent. I'm like, hell no, bro. Y'all are dumb. Technology cannot replace your fucking common sense, bro. Like, it just cannot. I do not care. Computers can do a lot of cool shit. It can compute a fucking bazillion fucking qubits in 5 seconds. Like, it doesn't fucking matter. That's fine. But it doesn't replace common sense. Common sense is like your connection to the divine, whatever. You know, it's man, I feel bad for anybody that like disconnects like that and tries to rely on some fucking man-made shit. It's basically like you're putting yourself on life support. Like, just imagine you said, oh, I don't need to use my lungs anymore. I'm gonna let this man-made fucking respirator breathe for me. It's like, why the fuck would you do that? Like, you're good. You got a whole bunch of shit going on that's good. Like, do not fucking try to be weird and like modify the fucking common sense shit. Like, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, common sense is like, I mean, everything's good for the most part. Like, just the only things I feel like we should do are things just to like, maybe if there's gonna be improvement. Some people think it's gonna be improvement. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take out my heart and replace it with a man-made one, and it's gonna last forever. It's like okay, maybe. I mean, maybe in some cases it will. Maybe your heart's failing, and we've perfected artificial hearts, and stick one in there, and it's gonna do good, you know. But you know, it has to at least be like good, you know. I think common sense is gonna tell us what's good and what's not, you know. So like, even with any technology we create in the future, all the technology we've already created, common sense is gonna tell us, you know, what it's about. Like, you know, being classy, being you know, having taste. I don't know if that's a word for it. Being tasteful. You know, you could do some distasteful stuff. Be like, bro, like, I know. Nah, don't do that. You know, we've already seen that in history. Like, somebody invents something, all of a sudden people are like, oh yeah, like when they invented these smartphones, like, oh yeah, here's one you could wear on your forehead. It's like, what? That's distasteful. You know what I mean? Common sense will tell us this stuff, and I think we're doing a good job of it so far. But you know, I hear a lot of people talking about all this crazy stuff. Oh yeah, we're gonna let AI decide everything. Like, you're a fucking idiot for even saying that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man, I get it like that, you know. Intuition is what it's all about for me, Native American style, you know. But, you know, we also have like systematically figured out a lot of stuff, and, you know, it's cool because I like technology. I want to have this little cool bike if we hadn't like figured out how shit worked and like made shit happen, you know. So it's cool, but like, I think common sense is always like the central like point of it all, you know what I mean? So I guess that's what I'm trying to say here. You know, I didn't actually plan this at all. It just was like in my heart to say it right now. So there you go. Follow your heart. You know, you ever hear people say that shit? You know, follow your heart and you're good. You know, that's your intuition. You're like, I should do this. I don't know why I came right here. That's what I'm always doing. That's why I'm just like wandering around. Like, I'm always just like wandering, just like what feels like what. I use the Force. You ever fucking watch Star Wars? I use the Force. You know, all the other freaking pilots are trying to use this freaking, what's it called, the technology, and they kept messing up. But Luke, he had Obi-Wan Kenobi get in his ear, in his freaking mind, Luke, use the Force, trust your senses. And he said, fuck it, move that little eye thing, whatever the fuck he did, and shot that bitch, and he fucking blew up the Death Star. It's history right there. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Same shit, you know. Common sense, Force, whatever, you know. It's a real thing. It's our connection to the divine. We're already part of like this giant system of life, you know. The technology dependent people, I feel bad for them. It's like you're neglecting your own like natural gifts, you know what I mean? And that's stupid. That's really stupid, you know. We're already part of a beautiful natural machine that we call the universe, you know. And yeah, I suggest everybody, you know, learn about that, you know, learn about how to operate, you know, as a natural, beautiful being, you know, as part of this divine universe, whatever. Yep. That's what I suggest. I love it, man. I love the natural world, bro. I do, and that's honestly what drives my passion for science. Even I'm just like so in love with like, one of my favorite things I say is, I prefer God's creation to, the creation of man. Like, if you just look at like the human body, it's such an intricate, complex machine. It's like, whoa, that's just like one body. Look at the whole biosphere of planet Earth. It's so complex and it's all working. It's like, it is amazing. If you want to like appreciate some engineering, appreciate that. You know what I mean? If you want to call it engineering, whatever, it's a machine, whatever you want to call it. And I'm like so enthused by it. I'm just like, wow, I'm awestruck by it. You know what I mean? And when I see something like, oh, look, a cool little motorbike or a freaking car, it's like, that ain't barely anything. And really, what we create would not even be possible had we not been created first. You know what I'm saying? So like anything, it's almost like us programming a robot to do something. I've said this before. It's almost like us programming a robot to do something and then like thinking the robot just did it. No, it was the programmer. We created the robot so the robot could do that. It's really the person who created the robot, who and programmed it, who I guess like indirectly did whatever the robot did, who produced the outcome that the robot, seemingly produced. You know what I'm saying? So without whatever creative force there is that, created everything in us, we would not be able to do anything. So I mean, that should be humbling in itself and, make you step back from your own arrogance and, consider, the grandness of life. You know what I'm saying? If that doesn't do it, I don't know what will, man. Y'all gotta. Some people are crazy. I really think a lot of people are crazy. Like, I'm just like, whoa, what? Well, like, life is so mysterious. We still don't understand so much. I'm just like, what if there is a God? Like, I don't want to. Let me just be cool with everything going on here. I'm not trying to, like, and really just for your own health and your own peace of mind and everything, just to live peacefully and decently. You want to be peaceful with everything. You want to, like, get with the program of, like, the divine order. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to, like, go against the grain and, you don't want to do that. So yeah, man, you gotta consider all this stuff, man. And I'm just trying to lend some perspective because I think it's a good way to do it. I love science, and I think, let's say there is a creator of us or the universe or whatever, and I mean, there's a high question if it's intentional, if it's accidental. But if there is, I mean, I guess us learning and figuring stuff out might be part of the plan, and getting to this point where we're kind of more technologically advanced, I mean, it could be just what God intended the whole time, and I think really almost like just, survival almost demands that we don't go against the grain of the universe, because like, I guess you could say the universe, but just like the natural order, because let's say you don't listen to your intuition, you listen to some AI robot you made. Next thing you know, you're freaking doing something stupid. Let's say like people have GPS in their cars. If they just like said take a left turn and the GPS doesn't know there's like a car coming right there, so take a left turn now. You're like, okay, you just die because you listen to a stupid thing that like, no, you have your common sense for a reason. It keeps you alive. And so I think survival itself demands common sense and to embrace the natural gifts that we were given, with intuition and everything. So there you go, man. I think those are some good examples, shit like that. So I'm gonna go right around. This shit is fun, dude. This is one of the funnest things I have ever fucking brought upon myself. I don't know. I've never ridden a dirt bike. I have a feeling it's probably gonna be better because it has more horsepower. But this is fun for now because I can go on those streets and then if I could just like pedal like a bike, and I don't know, it's fun. Anyway, wanna see it? It's fucking fun. I suggest anybody. It's like $200. You know how cheap that is today? That's probably gonna be like $200. I can't even buy a candy bar with that. That's how it's gonna be in like 20 years. Watch. $200. Can't even buy a piece of bubble gum for that. Yeah, whatever. I'm gonna go. That's all I had to say. I'm gonna talk to you guys later. This was fun. I have no idea exactly where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna follow my heart. I'm gonna fly with this, just go with the flow. You know what I'm saying? That's what you gotta do, man. That's what you gotta do. You never know where it's gonna take you, man. It's gonna take you on an adventure. Fucking adventure time. Let's do this shit. It's awesome. I'm out.